Welcome to the GSMC Pets Podcast, the show that caters to pet lovers of all kinds. We'll talk about pets on social media, pets doing amazing things, and how to take care of the pets in your life. Whether your pet is a dog, a cat, a llama, hamster, reptile, or something more exotic, you'll find educational and entertaining information on the GSMC Pets Podcast.
Friends, welcome back to the GSMC Pet Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Now, Tiger King, it's all the rage right now, my friends. You've heard of it. I know you've heard of it. Everyone's watching it. I think it's the most popular show that's ever been on Netflix, the most popular show in the world. So I thought today we would talk about the most dangerous, legal, exotic pets one can own. You know, if you've seen Tiger King, he's got obviously tigers and bears, and he has like 250 something wild cats on this property. And then if you haven't seen it, it's about this guy who lives in Florida, I believe, or Oklahoma maybe, where apparently there's just no rules for anything. And he has a tiger farm. And that's literally what it is, because he breeds the tigers and takes the cubs out and lets people pet them, which is probably inappropriate. But he's also got bears and jaguars and all these crazy animals that one probably shouldn't possess. And then it talks about all these other people who are against what he's doing, but they also have a bunch of tigers. And I don't know, it's a whole mess. It's a whole hillbilly mess out there. But we're not going to talk about Tiger King today. I'm sure everyone's seen it. Everyone's tired of hearing about it. There's, I go to my Facebook now and there's 14 memes about Joe Exotic. That's the lead guy's name in the documentary. So, we're tired of hearing about the Tiger King. So instead, what we're going to talk about is, like I said, the most dangerous but legal exotic pets you can own. It's the beauty of the United States, baby. It's freedom to own dangerous animals in your yard and they escape. All right. So I'm looking at a list here. I'm starting with the top 10 list. And this list wasn't written by me, but I've scrolled through the list. I do agree that, I agree with most of what he's saying as far as the danger of the animals on the list. And I definitely know there are people who own these things, which, man, seems, what's the word I'm looking for? Seems inappropriate, really, to own a tiger or a constrictor snake. I know a lot of people with constrictor snakes. Those are pretty popular, actually. But they always get out. They always escape. No one ever keeps their constrictor snake in the house, I swear. Anyways, let's read how he's making this list before we dive in here. I do not judge animals based on capability to cause harm. Like many lawmakers and news reporters do, I categorize based on whether or not these animals actually have attacked, killed, or severely maimed people relative to their numbers in captivity, and how these animals are generally kept, fully or partially enclosed. It should be understood that based on the objective statistics, incidences of exotic animal attacks are very uncommon, occurring approximately 10 times a year with all exotic animal species lumped together. For a comparison, dogs kill about 30 people annually and bite, harm an uncountable number of people. General bites are not often considered newsworthy for most pet species. Consider also that a significant portion of dogs are far too small to severely attack humans. Dog attack scenarios also seem to involve members of the public and their pets more often. I've based my conclusions from current knowledge about the behavior of these animals and careful analysis of each situation depending on species behavior, severity of the injury or fatality, and circumstances regarding its occurrence. I should reiterate that I am not declaring every animal on this list dangerous, but I am listing the species in order based on those that I know are kept as pets. So that seems fair. I didn't know dogs kill about 30 people annually. There's so many dogs, though. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You know, a dog attacks a kid. It's going to happen. 30 people a year, though. That's a lot. And, you know, I guess it makes sense that, you know, if everyone had a alligator pet, maybe it would be a little more common. Like, if as many people had alligators as they did dogs, maybe we'd have more of a alligator attack problem. Well, let's dive in to this list with number 10, the crocodile monitor. These are basically mini Komodo dragons. If you've never seen one before, I've always called them monitor lizards. I didn't realize they were called crocodile monitors. But, yeah, they are basically mini lizards, or mini Komodo dragons. And they have, like, super saliva. So if you ever seen a Komodo dragon before, which I doubt anyone who's listening to this has, at least in person, a Komodo dragon, when it bites its prey, it doesn't necessarily always kill its prey right there. It doesn't like come up and attack a cow and take it down and eat it all. What it does is it bites the cow, and then it's got this super bacteria in its mouth, highly densely population of bacteria in its mouth, and that infects the cow. And then the cow will just like mosey on with this bite on its leg, not realizing that in a couple days' time, it's going to go into shock from the infection. And that's when the Komodo dragon will have been following it slowly. And then that's when it will come in and finish it off. So let's see what this guy has to say about it. Sometimes extremely large and carnivorous reptiles are purchased by general lizard enthusiasts. And this is a major issue because these lizards are nothing like owning a bearded dragon. Can you imagine that? The massive monitor grows to 8 to 12 feet in captivity and requires large caging that most private keepers can't or won't provide. You'll often see large reptiles inappropriately kept in smaller caging than recommended. Their temperament varies by individual, but bites are always a possibility with these generally high-strung animals and can result in finger amputations and deep tissue wounds, even with juvenile animals due to their uniquely serrated teeth and strong jaws. 8 to 12 feet. My friends, that's, your entire bedroom, pretty much. Or your entire bathroom, at least. So you just let it mosey around your house. That's horrifying. I would never go to that house. Let's keep reading. Monitors also have saliva that is densely populated with bacteria. Okay, I already went over this. Although no one has been directly killed by crocodile monitors and other large similar lizards, their bites can potentially be deadly if not treated. One of these rare examples was featured on Animal Planet's Fatal Attractions, where reptile keeper Ron Huff was likely bitten and succumbed to infection that he didn't seek treatment for. Unfortunately, this story was absurdly presented by the program, and it was insinuated that the animals actually ate their keeper before he died from their bite. Wait, so did he get eaten or didn't he? Because I actually watched that episode, and yeah, it implied that they ate him after he collapsed, because he didn't take care of his wound. He didn't clean it out properly. And then this, the bacteria thing happened. And next thing he knows, he's on the ground. So I'm wondering. I need to know. This guy's claiming that maybe that didn't happen. I don't know if this guy has some inside information about old Ron Huff. But yeah, the way the Animal Planet show made it seem was that they found him like laying against the wall with all his insides eaten out by these monitor lizards, which doesn't seem that surprising. If you die and you just die in front of your animals, I'd eat you. You know, you don't feed me for a week, I'm coming after you. Sorry. You know, Donner Party inside this guy's apartment. We're going to take a quick break here. We're only on number 1 on the list. We got a long ways to go, my friends. Stick around. I'll talk to you in just a moment.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
All right, folks, we're back. Welcome back to the Pet Podcast. We're talking about dangerous pets that you can have in your own house. How exciting. We were talking about monitor lizards, 8 to 12 feet long monsters that you can have waltzing around your home with their horribly disgusting mouths that will bite you, and you will probably die of bacteria poisoning, but that's neither here nor there. Next, we've got alligators. Why you'd want an alligator, I don't know. It seems like a vanity thing to me. I don't know if they'll eat you. I think alligators are small enough where they might not eat you. I've seen some pictures of some that are giant, but I've also seen ones that are like in people's bathtubs. So let's see what this article has to say about them. Fatalities from alligator attacks are very rare. And indeed, all of the deaths that have occurred are from wild animals. The reason is obvious. It's far easier to be surprise attacked by a wild, camouflaged alligator than one in a clear, small pool in captivity. Sure. Also, alligators do not chase people. Alligators may attack defensively, but mostly do not view humans as prey. So it should be removed from your mind that they will sneak into your house and eat your children. Good. That's reassuring. And that's nothing to say that my child won't decide to go take a dip in the pool and all of a sudden something happens. At the time of this writing, there hasn't even been a single fatal attack by an alligator in the U.S. in the last 5 years, wild or captive. Oh, really? Huh. There have been a case of two severe maimings by wild alligators. In 2000 to 2007, there have been around 10 fatalities, again, by wild animals. People who oppose exotic animals in captivity love for the public to ignore things like this. Sure. But, as one should expect, owning an alligator and obviously a crocodile, which isn't as common. See, the crocodile I don't understand. Crocodile can take down a gazelle. Well, who do you think you are? Anyways, I guess I'm probably bigger than a gazelle. An alligator can take down a wildebeest. Who do you think you are? Alright. But one should expect owning an alligator and obviously a crocodile, which is common. While not likely to be a fatal endeavor, as long as you do not do anything monumentally stupid, can be quite dangerous because the handler is at risk of getting bitten. Yeah, and then they do that twist thing where they do the roll. I think it's called the death roll or something. They grab you and they just spin around. Alligators have an extremely powerful bite force, being built for tearing apart live prey. That's nice. And like the crocodile monitor, they can cause severe injury should this happen, including the severing of limbs. Yeah, it's that twist I'm telling you about. They grab you and then they do a barrel roll, and then it's just game over. Your arm's gone. I don't know. Alligators seem a little too dangerous to me. More dangerous than the monitor lizard. Because the tearing, I'd say, the shredding and the tearing. At least the monitor lizard just poisons you. You can go get some antibiotics. Let's scroll down this list a little more. We got old world monkeys next. These are considered more dangerous than crocodiles, huh? We'll see about that. All large monkeys have canines that can inflict serious injury, even if they are removed. The remaining teeth are also injurious. Oh, this seems rude to remove its teeth. And it doesn't help that monkeys can be prone to dangerous, spontaneous tantrums when they hit sexual maturity that will surprise unsuspecting first-time monkey owners. Where do you even get a monkey? That seems like some back alley, you're in Vegas, and a guy has a box behind a building, and he just hands it over to you. Or in, like, some alley in Chinatown. How much do they cost? Black-capped capuchin monkeys are said to be the best pet monkey, and this is the species used by Organization Helping Hands with their teeth removed. Okay, that's the one, I think we talked about this last week, or maybe the week before, or episode before. They train monkeys to help disabled people. People can't use their arms, which that is cool. I almost wanted to lose ability to use my arms just so I can have that. Obviously, the physical severity of an injury received from a monkey will depend on its size, with small marmosets not being capable of inflicting large wounds. But I've singled out old world monkeys because they carry most of the non-human primate zoonotic diseases that are health threats to humans. Diseases from monkeys have subsided dramatically after their import from the wild for the pet trade ceased. And the safest monkeys are those which are captive bred, isolated from other monkeys in pet-owning situations, and in good health, but any serious disease potential in animals should be acknowledged. And there's a picture here of a colobus monkey, which is ugly. It looks like Voldemort from Harry Potter. It doesn't have a nose. It's just like two little slits. And it's all surprised. I don't like that. I don't want that living in my house. Sorry. Old world monkeys inhabit Africa and Asia and include colobus monkeys, macaques, baboons, mandrills, and langurs. You can't have baboons. By far the most popularly kept primate in this group are macaques. I think I'm saying that right. I think I might be macaque. I don't know. These monkeys are known for the high likeliness of carrying herpes B virus. All right. Which can be transferred to humans with a 70 to 80% mortality rate. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know herpes B was that bad. This disease is severe yet rare, perhaps due to the vigilance around these animals and lab tests determining their status. The last reported infection occurred in 1997, with a research lab worker being the victim. Old world monkeys are also highly susceptible to tuberculosis, and frequent testing for the disease is often conducted. Tuberculosis, I didn't even know people can even get that anymore. I mean, I guess monkeys can, but they pass it on to the people. I don't know, monkeys seem like a fun one. As far as, like, I've gone on this list, monkeys seems like the one I would want to have. But it also seems messy. It seems like can you imagine your cabinets are just raided all the time? It's going to find a bag of flour. That's a whole mess. It's going to find rice. You don't want a monkey at home. Let them live in the wild where they want to be. They eat leaves and sticks and stuff. They lick the sticks and they put them in the anthills. I think just chimpanzees do that. Yeah, monkeys just belong in the wild, folks. Let them be free to live. We're running out of time here for this segment before we take another break. We'll cut it off right here because this next category is deeply, deeply disturbing to me. It's a pet that I can't possibly understand why anyone would ever want or have. And it's a monster. It's a classical monster. We'll talk about it right when we get back. I will talk to you in just a moment.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And we're back, my friends. We, going through this list here, we talked about monitor lizards, alligators, monkeys. Old world monkeys are different than just your average monkey. These are the fun little monkeys, except the baboons. Baboons are not fun little monkeys. They've got giant teeth and weird blue butts. Why you would want any of these, I don't know. But you are legal to have them. If you can find one, you're legal to have it. I don't know if that should be the case. I'm all for freedom. I'm a bit of a libertarian myself. But some things, I don't think people should have. And that brings us to our next animal on the list. This one should be illegal. Like I said, I'm all for the government staying out of my business. But the government should hunt these down. Remove them from your homes. Keep your guns. Please keep your guns, especially with these out and about. We're talking about large constrictor snakes. Now, the article here is underplaying it. So I'll read it. The danger presented by snakes is often way, way, way too overhyped. I don't believe it. Surprisingly, despite decent popularity, Burmese, reticulated African rock python, anaconda, and boa constrictors, all large snakes, combined kill on average one human or less a year in the United States. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. Just getting bitten by one, I don't care if it doesn't kill me. It's the bite and the wrapping. That is the horrible part. Never recover. Years of therapy will never recover you from a snake wrapped around your body trying to swallow your fist. Let's read this. Fatalities caused by captive constrictor snakes. From 1990 to 2010, there were 10 deaths. That's not bad, I guess. It's one every other year. Too many for me. 1 was a boa constrictor. 2 were reticulated pythons. 6 were Burmese pythons. All right, there we go. Burmese pythons out. And 1 was an African rock python. All victims were owners or family of the owners. Great. I bet the family was really stoked on that. Burmese pythons famously infest the Florida Everglades as an invasive species, so even as they roam the wilds of the Sunshine State, human fatalities are rare. Are large snakes recommended for beginner reptile keepers? Of course not, but they are readily available and thus claim a spot on the list, being fully capable of strangling an adult human should misfortune cause the snake to behave uncharacteristically. such as the recent tragedy involving 2 young boys in Canada. When was this article written? I don't know how recent that really would have been. Let's see when this was made. This is 2019, August 19th, so they're still deadly. They're still deadly, folks. They didn't include the 2 Canadian boys in the constrictor death list. So, there we go. Shouldn't have them. The problem with keeping a large snake, or any snake for that matter, is that they are excellent escape artists. Should a large snake find a way out of the enclosure of someone who didn't research their needs diligently enough, sleeping children, pets, and sometimes adult humans are at severe risk from the unseen menace. Negligence is often a factor with escapes and subsequent strangulation of children or pets. Okay, so I don't know who wrote this list, but at the beginning he's all like, well, it's way, way overhyped until the unseen menace escapes into your home and sneaks up into your child's bed. This guy needs to figure out what he thinks about the snakes. Don't get a large constrictor snake. I don't care if it's legal. You shouldn't have one. They're an invasive species in Florida. They eat the alligators in Florida. Did you know that? Did you know that? They eat them. I don't want anything that can eat an alligator in my home around my dogs. Next on the list, we got wolf dogs. Now this is one that seems like fun, but apparently it's not, because it's number 6 on the list. Let's see what they have to say about wolf dogs. There's a picture here of it just eating an elk's head or something. It might surprise people that wolf dogs are likely more dangerous than wolves when owned as pets within our society. You see it, and I could understand that. I've always heard that wolves never kill people. That's really, really rare. While fully wild animals often have more reclusive attitudes and are cautious of humans, some wolf dogs possess the independent nature of their wild counterparts, along with the loss of fear of humans that is characteristic of domesticated dogs. Just like with lions, wolves are natural pack animals and respond well to be given subordinate positions in the hierarchy. This also leads to a reduced tendency to bite. Throwing domesticated dog behavior into this mix can create a more unpredictable animal, yet as genetics vary, so do the produced animals. Therefore, not all wolf dogs will have problematic behaviors, but the issue is we don't know which ones do. Okay. Well, there's a lot about wolf dogs here. I gotta hurry, because we're running out of time. I've seen wolf dogs at the park before. People who claim they call them timber wolves. And they're enormous. They are huge. But it seemed really nice. However, its coat is all coarse and rough. It's not something I'd want to pet. It's more of something I just want to have in my yard to look at. In addition to this, wolf dog owners are probably more likely to raise their pets in a less restrictive fashion than owners of big cats, which may account for the few incidences that wolf dogs have attacked people. Okay. The problem with statistics about wolf dog attacks are that for most people, these animals are difficult to tell apart from very wolfy-looking dogs. And sometimes breeders lie. So it is possible that pure dogs have been mistakenly thrown into the list of attackers. As long as wolves and wolf dogs are owned by the proper owners who can give them the large, secure enclosure and time-consuming training that is mandatory in their care, attacks should remain uncommon. Okay, what's the difference? So what's the difference between a husky and a wolf dog? Did the wolf dog was it a dog that mated with a wolf? I don't know. That's something for a different episode. There are not too many certified incidences of wolf dogs causing human fatalities. On August 1999, 4-year-old Cody Tyler Fairland was killed by his family's German Shepherd / wolf mix when the animal crushed his throat and trachea. Another incident involved 8 wolf dogs killing a 73-year-old woman whose son owned the animals. Okay, dude, come on. 8 wolf dogs? Who are you? Mowgli. You shouldn't have 8 wolf dogs. You don't need 8 wolf dogs around your 73-year-old mother. Sandra L. Piovesen, was mauled and killed by a pack of 9 wolf dogs and was presented again in Fatal Attractions. 2 of these incidences have multiple attacks, obviously increasing the danger. Okay, you get one wolf dog. You want a wolf dog, you get one. You don't need a pack. Jeez. You need 10 wolf dogs? Come on. 9 wolf dogs? That's when they turn on you. That's when they get together and they say, hey, what's going on here? Why are we waiting for food? Why do we wait for him to feed us? Let's get on this ourselves. Let's take care of this ourselves. We're the alphas now. Yeah, I wouldn't want a wolf dog. I have enough trouble with my regular sized dog. We're coming in hot, folks. We're on the top 5 now. And these are the big boys in the top 5. Excited to get to number 1. But until we get there, we got to take a quick break. So stick around. We'll be back in a moment.
Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
And we're back. Friends, we've gone through the bottom 5 most deadly animals that you can legally own. And we're on number 5. Let's do a quick recap of the bottom 5. We got the monitor lizard, of course, the alligator, the old world monkey, the large constrictor snakes, which should really be number 1. I don't know why it's number 7. Wolf dogs, which are like regular dogs, but they will form into a pack and kill you. Now we're on to number 5. The elephant, which you can legally own an elephant? What? You can't have ivory. Doesn't that count? You can't legally import ivory to the United States. Why can you legally import the grower of the ivory, an elephant? That's craziness. Let's see here. Let's read what this guy has to say about elephants. He's mostly wrong about everything he says, is my opinion. Even when not deliberately attacking, elephants are obviously large enough to harm people by accident. And that's why only professionals should deal with them. Yeah, obviously. I thought you must have to have some sort of license, right? I skipped a paragraph. Just like with horses, when a large animal like an elephant gets spooked, they can harm or kill anyone in close range. I wonder how you spook an elephant. A mouse on its foot. So this is a list of animals you can legally own, but I can't imagine if I put an elephant in my backyard that the cops wouldn't show up or something, or I wouldn't get a letter from the city. Elephants, however, despite a vegetarian lifestyle, have minds of their own, and there have been instances of them intentionally killing their trainers and owners. Due to this, AZA zoological facilities now require protected contact with elephants and trainers. Circuses still use traditional handling methods with the use of a bullhook. I've seen some of these circus elephants, and I'm pretty sure this is why this all got shut down, because it's pretty horrible with how they treat the elephants at the circus. Sorry, Ringling Brothers, but you're done. Elephants are not often kept privately outside of circus workers and other exhibitionists. For the few cases where they have been kept as private pets, there have been no fatalities in recent history. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, of all the animals on this list so far, an elephant is the one I'd most want to have. And they're super smart, and they seem friendly enough, you know? my elephant wouldn't kill me. Let's just say that. From 1990 to 2013, there were 16 deaths. 8 USDA exhibitor deaths. See, USDA, government, again, just can't handle it. 7 AZA zoo deaths and 1 USDA sanctuary. No reported private pet deaths. Yeah, see, who's going to report it if you get killed by the elephant at home? The elephant takes over your house when that happens. There's just abandoned properties sprinkled around the United States with elephants controlling them and a skeleton somewhere in the property. So that's about it with the elephants. I honestly, I think if all the ones we've seen so far, this is the one you should get. Apparently it's legal. I don't know where you get an elephant. Buy it from a carny or something when the state fair comes through town. I don't know. Number 4, venomous snakes. Again, with the snakes, come on. Enough. You don't need a snake. Snakes belong in the desert or in the forest, away from people, folks. It's a devil's creature. Anyways, with front-fanged venomous snakes, also called hots, one bite will indiscriminately send the victim to the hospital. Since venomous, non-poisonous snakes require their owners to be experienced handlers who have mentored with professionals or other long-term time owners of hot snakes, they are for obvious reasons, quite dangerous. Yeah. You think? What do you see? And that's another thing. This seems like more of a vanity pet. Like you just have it to look at and you bring people over and say, hey, guess what? This could kill you. It's like if you ever had a friend who always wants to show you his guns. Like, dude, I get it. I've got a gun too, but you don't have to show it off. Keep it away. Keep it away. Another thing should be legal. From 1990 to 2009, there's approximately 16 deaths from venomous snakes, 6 fatalities from religious ceremonies. What? I feel like I have heard of this religion, and that's their thing. They're like, they let the snake bite them and say, hey, I lived, so God's on my side. And then 11 attributed to rattlesnakes. Even the least deadly venomous snakes, such as copperhead snakes, can still cause serious, painful reactions by a single bite, which will require medical attention, and many venomous snakes are just as bitey as the most ill-tempered rat snakes. Unfortunately, many inexperienced people are able to obtain these animals because they are readily available in states where they are legal, such as what's depicted on an anti-exotic pet documentary, Elephant Living in the Room. I have seen that too. And is really good. If it's still on Netflix, I recommend you watch it right after you're done watching Tiger King, because that was pretty awesome. Based on every incident of envenomations from captive snakes, a good portion of them coming from religious groups that use them in ceremonies. See, so strange. These snakes are only a risk to their handlers and people who live with them. Should a venomous snake escape, they would likely just join the wild population of venomous snakes in posing a threat to the public, which is a very small risk. I don't think that happens very much. In fact, I've only really seen a rattlesnake in the wild a couple of times. And I live in Utah, so they're not common here. But it is kind of frightening when you see one. I saw one that someone had, somehow had lost its rattler, but it had the same strike position, everything. Shouldn't be kept as pets. Why do you need a venom? Why do you need something that can kill you in your house? I mean, sure, like your stairs can kill you, and you can die in your bathtub, and it's probably more common, but they grab them, they pick them up by the neck, and they hold them, and they show them to you. It shouldn't be a thing. It should not be a thing, folks. You do not need a venomous snake in your house. I'd be scared to even feed it. You can't even open the cage to feed it without having a fear of death. We don't need it. You don't need it. Most of these animals you don't need, except maybe me and an elephant. I'm kind of considering trying to get an elephant now. I don't know if my yard's big enough or if the fence is strong enough, pretty sure they can knock down a chain link, but they do look like a lot of fun. I don't know if I could afford to feed it, though. It's probably not a good pet for me. It's already, the way things are right now, it's almost hard for me to feed my cat and dog. Anyways, we're in the top 3, folks. We have approached the top 3. So, we'll be right back, and we'll finish this list off. Talk to you in a second.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
We're back, my friends. We're approaching the end of today's podcast, but we've still got the top 3. What do you think they are? I feel like a couple are obvious. One we kind of mentioned earlier with the whole Tiger King thing. It's the next one. It's big cats. It's number 3. But then there's 2 after that. What do you think they could possibly be? I don't know. I don't know either. I actually do know, but I'm not going to tell you until we get there. Number 3, big cats. This is another one that's kind of with me and the elephant. This is one I've seen people with their big cats, and they seem like a lot of fun. It's like having a big angry dog. Or not angry necessarily even, but like a roaring dog. Like a cat that you can ride on its back. That's so cool. But, odds are it's going to kill you. So, let's not take the chance. But let's read a little bit about them. Big cats can and have eaten people. There we go. This is unlike the smaller exotic cats that are often blindly accused of the same nature, even though their wild counterparts only eat small animals like rabbits. Big cats, lions, tigers, mountain lions, jaguars, leopards, and not cheetahs. I don't know why you would put not cheetahs. Probably provide the most exciting news stories when they attack or fatally maul their caretaker, and the news media never misses a beat reporting on it. So if you can recall the last time you heard of a big cat attack, you will probably realize that they aren't very common either, occurring on average about twice a year. The victim is almost always the owner or caretaker. That is true. There's the show on Animal Planet that he's been talking about through this article that I used to love. If it's your cat, that's usually who scratches you too. I've been scratched by my cats a few times. The difference is you get scratched by one of these, its 4-inch claw will rip your face off. So let's see, what do we got here? Captive big cat fatalities. From 1990 to 2012, there were 21 deaths. So, what is that? It's almost one a year. 14 deaths caused by tigers, 3 lion, 1 leopard, 1 jaguar, 2 ligers. Seems like the tigers are the most vicious ones. They are solitary, so that makes sense, but they're also the most beautiful ones. That'd be hard, because that's kind of the one I would want. 3 lions, 1 I guess I would go with the jaguar, because least likely to kill you. The jaguar or the leopard. Maybe the liger, because that's a mix of 2 cool ones. The lions, I feel like most people who have these big cats are going to have a lion. So the fact that only 3 people are dead by lions makes it seem a little less vicious. But the lions are also kind of boring. They don't have the same colors as the tigers. They've had a nice mane, but this mane looks all dreaded. I'm looking at a picture of a lion right now. It's all dreaded up and probably from the blood. Out of all the big cats, leopards are probably the most dangerous. Oh, well, there we have them. Being non-social, adaptable, particularly powerful animals, you'll notice that big cat handlers tend to gravitate towards lions and tigers because they respond better to training and human dominion. Poorly trained big cats can harm or kill with merely playful antics. That's what I always thought. Because, yeah, like I said, just one claw, like one little playing around. Oops, sorry. There goes your face. Often, however, entering the enclosure, i.e. the animal's territory of an animal that is not familiar with human interaction, will likely spike a defense and fatal ambush. Scary. Often, zoos that practice hands-off husbandry with big cats, which is recommended, will have fatalities due to their animal's likeliness to attack should a keeper forget to fully close a pen while cleaning cages. How do you forget to fully close the pen? That's like forgetting to shut the door behind you when you walk into your house. Most attacks by captive big cats are from tigers, probably because tigers are numerous in captivity. Okay, that makes sense. So there's mostly tigers in captivity. Many fear that big cats will be a significant public safety threat should they escape into the wild. However, it should be noted that no big cat escapes off the property of an animal enclosure have resulted in a fatality thus far. Has there ever been one that's escaped and never been found again? What are the chances that there's just wild tigers out there, wild big cats, that escape, maybe they're breeding in the Rocky Mountains or something? That'd be kind of cool. So there's big cats. There's the Tiger King thing for you. Probably shouldn't have one, but they are beautiful. I'm looking at a mother lick its cub right now. Its cub is so cute. See, that's the thing. If we could genetically alter them where they only stay cubs, then that would be the ultimate pet. Still, I think, kind of dangerous, though. They've still got big claws. We're on number 2, folks. Our big, cuddly friend. Love to give it a hug. The bear. Bears are listed before big cats because of their intelligence, dexterity, and omnivorous opportunistic nature. They have impressive strength and a taste for meat like a big cat, but they can also have an interest in approaching humans, including breaking into their homes, which both wild and captive individuals have done. That's kind of cool. Bear burglar. This makes escaped bears a much larger concern for the public. In contrast to the often reclusive large felines, the bear species most commonly kept as pets are black bears. Aren't they the most dangerous ones? Yeah. And this species is also responsible for the most fatal attacks on humans. What? Why would you keep that one? Both wild and captive. However, the scarcity of larger bears like polar bears and grizzly bears being kept as private pets may very well contribute to the lack of fatal statistics from them, or perhaps it is people being less willing to enter their enclosures. God, bears seem like just big dogs, though. Big friendly dogs. Like, my dog literally looks like a little bear. Let's see. Fatalities caused by captive bears. Approximately 6 deaths in 1990 through 2012. See, that's not bad. That's really not that bad. I don't know how many people own bears. I don't know if there was 6 owners and they're all dead now, but 1 Syrian brown bear, 1 grizzly bear, and 4 black bears. All of these victims were employees or were cleaning the cage. That's right. I don't want someone waltzing into my house cleaning stuff up like I'm messy. It's kind of offensive. Let's see. Some examples of bear attacks, wild included. Ooh, this is interesting. August 2010, 24-year-old Brent Candro was fatally mauled while he was cleaning a black bear's cage. Same thing happened on October 2009 to 37-year-old Kellyanne Walls. And again, August 2009. Wow, 2009 was a rough year. 74-year-old Donna Munson was mauled by a wild black bear that had forced its way past a wire fence. Munson had fed bears for over a decade despite warnings from wildlife officials, and the bear that mauled her had previously injured a younger bear she had put food out for. Okay, well, don't feed the bears. Duh. August 2001, 93-year-old Adelia Maestres Trujillo was killed by a wild black bear that broke through a glass pane to enter her house. What's with all these old people living in wild bear territory? Jeez. And August 10th, 1993, 24-year-old Colin McClelland was killed by a black bear that broke down the entrance to his trailer. Jeez. You're not ever safe, huh? Even in your own home. July 1978, I don't know why we're going back so far all of a sudden, 30-year-old Lynn Orser was killed by a black bear owned by her friend that broke into the owner's home. Well, was the owner there with you? April 2008, 39-year-old Stephen Miller was killed by his trained bear by a bite to the neck. See, that maybe it was a friendly bite. I don't know why I'm trying to defend these bears. Folks, let's do a quick recap. Well, we'll do a recap after the break. We're coming up with number 1 here, folks. Number 1, most dangerous pet that you can legally own in your own house. Talk to you in a moment.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
We are back. This is it. We are at the number 1 most dangerous pet you can own. But first, let's do a quick recap. We got the crocodile monitor, number 10, with the deadly spit. The alligator, number 9. Wow, the dinosaur from hell. The old world monkeys. The little creatures with the big fangs. Look like humans, but might ruin your house and spill the flour everywhere. Large constrictor snakes. God's least favorite creature. The monster from the depths. The wolf dog. Is it a dog? Is it a wolf? Is it your friend? Is it your enemy? Number 6. Number 5, the elephant. The friendly killer pet that you want in your backyard. Number 4, the venomous snake, again with the snakes. Why? Number 3, big cats. I've got some big cats too, they're just not that big. 2, bears. Obvious why they might kill you. And number 1 on the list, the chimpanzee. Yes. Again, I don't know why it's legal to own these. Like I said, all against government controlling my life, but, you know, if my neighbor's chimpanzee escapes and busts into my house, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Chimpanzees, which possess incredible strength, have by no means caused the most fatalities on the list. In fact, there hasn't been a fatality from a captive chimpanzee in recent U.S. history, but their near fatalities, such as the famous incident involving ex-TV star Travis the chimp, are chilling. Chimps, like elephants, have more complex cognition, and it can be difficult or impossible to know what's going through their minds, and how they'll react to novel situations. Like monkeys, they have natural hierarchies, and their behavior may change unexpectedly, especially if they escape and encounter people they don't know who are familiar with chimp behavior. This danger is especially true of animals that have reached sexual maturity around the age of 7. Thus, chimps are the best qualifiers in the exotic pet world as a public safety threat. They tend to attack by biting off body parts, noses, fingers, etc., and often enjoy playing with people while not allowing them to leave. Gee, wow, it's brutal. So while all the victims have survived, the damage was extensive. Many zoos find housing chimps to be a complicated endeavor. The mindful animals may often figure out how to escape their enclosures, possessing the hands to be able to undo locks and turn knobs. Some chimps' escapes have involved the animal opening doors to access terrified people. Their curiosity is unparalleled with the other animals on the list, making them, in my opinion, a very fitting number one dangerous exotic pet. Gorillas aren't kept privately, to my knowledge, and orangutans are uncommonly privately owned and seemingly less dangerous. Excuse me. Excuse me again. See, and this is another one where it's kind of like I would kind of want a chimpanzee. But I can see, even there's a picture of a baby chimpanzee, and I can see the killer in its eyes. I can see the way it's eyeing the world. But baby chimpanzees are just so cute and so friendly. Oh, wow. And there's a huge list here of severe chimpanzee incidences. Let's read some of them. In 2010, Andrea Maturin, a seasoned volunteer, was attacked by a chimpanzee named Sean at Suncoast Primate Sanctuary. When he and another chimp escaped into a cage she was clearing, she escaped further injury by locking herself in a bathroom. Wow. I've met Seans before, and they can be a little unpredictable. 2009, the famous Connecticut incident was the most severe chimp attack, resulting in the victim, Charla Nash, losing her eyesight and undergoing a face transplant. Jeez. Travis, an ex-TV star chimp that belonged to her friend, mauled her, severing her nose, ears, and both hands. Travis was shot after he made an attempt to attack an officer. Poor Travis. But, you can't be doing that, Trav. Let's see what else we got here. 2007, a worker at Sunrise Exotic Ranch, a chimpanzee breeding facility, was bitten by a chimpanzee named Ginny while she was handing blankets to the animals through a feeding tray. Once she freed her hand from Ginny, 2 of her fingers were gone and 2 were nearly severed. Her hand is still disfigured and required $100,000 in medical bills. Well, I hope that chimp had some money. Can you take a chimp to court? Is it that cognizant? Can you do that? 2005, St. James Davis was visiting a former pet chimp off his California Wildlife Rescue Center when 2 chimpanzees escaped their enclosure, ripping off his mouth and nose, gouging out an eye, and devouring his fingers, buttocks tissue, and genitals. He had to be kept in a medically induced coma and underwent 6 surgeries. His wife, LaDonna, also had her finger bitten off. This is the second most severe chimp attack. Dang. Just visiting his friend. Oh, this is interesting, 1999. This is from the Hogle Zoo, which is my local zoo. 2 Hogle Zoo animal keepers were injured, 1 critically when they were attacked Saturday by chimpanzees that escaped their primary enclosure and accessed the employee service area in the Great Apes building. Oh, wow. Just messing up the break room. Always, you gotta leave a note after that. Hey, no chimps in the break room. Wow. Clean the microwave. Darn. In 1994, an escaped chimpanzee broke the door of a trailer where a family was looking at photos in the living room. Dragging a 2-year-old by her ponytail, the animal also threw a dog against the trailer and needed to be fought off with a frying pan. That's kind of comical. Sorry people got hurt, but the frying pan thing. So there we go, folks. That's our big top 10 list of the most dangerous animals you can own. Disclaimer, GSMC Podcast Network does not encourage you to own any of these animals. Any of them. Obviously the chimpanzee. I'm wondering, this 1994 one where the frying pan one, an escaped chimpanzee broke the door of a trailer where a family was looking at photos in the living room. Where did it escape from? Was it just, how long was it roaming before it found their trailer? It just tore open. Can you imagine the horror? The horror? My goodness. Wow. So there we have it, folks. Chimpanzees, most dangerous. And I kind of saw that one coming. because I've done a lot of research into chimpanzees, and they're not necessarily nice. They're cute and fun when they got a diaper on and they, roam around your house. But in general, they're not your friends. Unfortunately, I wish we could have a better relationship with our chimpanzee cohorts. They are very closely related to us. But we've seen how vicious humans can be, right? So, what's to say? Why wouldn't a chimpanzee be more or less vicious? Folks, that'll do it for today's podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the GSMC Pet Podcast, as always. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We're there. We're waiting for your comments. We're waiting for, we want to talk. We want to chat with you about pets and other creatures as well. Again, folks, I'm your host, Taylor Cowan, and from the GSMC Podcast Network, we hope you have a phenomenal evening. Good night.
You've been listening to the GSMC Pets Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's podcast.